Hello friends, Chef Bill here. I have a unique and special recipe for this episode. It is Chicago-style deep dish pizza made in a clay pot. And to help me tell you about it is my good friend and country singer, Mr. Leon Liquor.
I met a pizza from Chicago. You know I really like its style. I'll show you how to make it, but it might just take a while. I bring the pot for you, that's Roman. You know it's made from simple clay. And we're going to make a pizza, no matter what anyone may say. Oh, oh, Chicago. Oh, 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 Chicago. You're the best pizza around. Glad it's you that I have found.
Friends, I want to share with you a recipe that I came up with for Chicago-style deep dish pizza, specifically for the Römertopf pane, a German clay pot intended for bread making. After many failed pizzas, I found the right balance of dough and tomatoes, and also the right balance of time and temperature. The oven never goes over 400 degrees, and so there's no burning, and the pizza itself is lighter and less greasy. Also, I chose to use a sourdough starter instead of commercial yeast for my dough. There's a lot of information out there about how to make your own sourdough starter, so I will not be going over that in this video. I will post some links below in the description.
Call me the lady of nature. The sun will shine, the wind will blow. When we use natural fermentation, nature's yeast is in my dough.
You know I love those ripe tomatoes. The heat down low and roasted slow. I'll show you how to get a nice flavor. That's why I'm on the Chef Bill show.
I am a woman that is modern. I want it all and I want more. And what I want most of all is that cheese that I adore.
I start with 3 pounds of the best vine-ripened tomatoes I can find. I will core out the tomatoes and put them on a baking sheet with parchment paper. I'm going to put them in the oven at 200 degrees Fahrenheit and let them roast for 2 hours. When the tomatoes are out of the oven and cooled to room temperature, I will remove the skins and place them in a sauté pan. I'm going to cut them up roughly and simmer them in a pan at a medium-low temperature. I will simmer the tomatoes to reduce the amount of liquid in the sauce. While they're simmering, I'm going to add 2 cloves of chopped garlic, 1/2 tablespoon of sugar, 1 teaspoon of salt, and 1/2 tablespoon of dried oregano. It won't take too long for that sauce to reduce. When you see that there's no loose liquid and it's not runny but still has moisture in it, take it off the flame. Okay, here's the important part, the Römertopf pan. That's P-A-N-E, as in bread. I have other videos that are about other kinds of Römertopf or clay pot cooking, but just know that this bread pan is porous clay. It will absorb water and create a humid environment in the oven. You need to soak the Römertopf in water for at least half an hour before use. For the pizza dough, we start with 140 grams of room temperature water and add to that 40 grams of sourdough starter. Mix the starter and the water together and let it stand for a few minutes. After that, add a teaspoon of garlic powder and a teaspoon of oregano powder. Add 10 grams of salt. Add 28 grams of corn oil. Mix all the ingredients and then measure out 210 grams of bread flour and 40 grams of corn flour. It is important to note that this should be fine corn flour, not cornmeal. The ratio of flour to water gives us a 59% hydration level. Now that might be a little low for pizza dough, but consider we're also adding some corn oil, and in this particular method, it'll work well. I will quickly mix the dough. Then I will set up my KitchenAid mixer for the kneading. Work the dough with the dough hook. Let the dough sit for 30 minutes and then knead well again. Repeat this every 30 minutes for 2 hours. After the last kneading, the dough should be smoother and have a tight feeling. I will cover my bowl with plastic wrap and let it bulk ferment in the refrigerator for 12 to 20 hours. Now it's time to put it all together. The dough should have had time to rise some. It will not get too much bigger, unlike regular sourdough bread or dough using commercial yeast. I start by flouring my board and forming the dough into a ball. I'll let that sit for half an hour. After the dough has rested for a half an hour, press and form the dough into a circle. Then on a pre-soaked but dry Römertopf pan, I will sprinkle some semolina flour. I then press the dough into the pot and press it up against the sides. Now this is dry pot with no oil, butter, or anything on it, just the dough. I'm going to use a combination of 130 grams of provolone cheese and 60 grams of a low moisture, full fat mozzarella cheese. After I put down the layer of cheese, I'm going to add some pepperoni. If you don't like pepperoni, you can put other types of meat, even raw sausage. I have made a vegetarian version of this recipe just using broccoli on top of the cheese, so you can put whatever you'd like. Now, hopefully you've let Chef Vinnie's famous pizza sauce come to room temperature. You don't want to add hot sauce to this pie. Layer the tomato sauce on top of everything else, and you are ready to put it in the oven. Now remember, you have soaked your Römertopf and you're ready to put it in an oven. You always put the Römertopf of any type into a cold oven. It needs to slowly come to temperature because it'll crack otherwise. I'm going to go ahead and place my Römertopf on the top of the oven. I want the heat to rise up, and I also want any humidity or moisture to be caught in the top space of the oven. This is going to be the perfect situation for the Römertopf because it is going to mainly heat from underneath. Once again, we start with a cold oven and set the temperature to 200 degrees Fahrenheit. Once we're at temperature 200 degrees Fahrenheit, I'm going to put the oven onto 300 degrees Fahrenheit. After that comes to temperature, then I'll put the oven at 400 degrees Fahrenheit. Once it's at 400 degrees Fahrenheit, I time it for 45 minutes. After 45 minutes, I take out my Römertopf and I look at my pizza. You will notice that there is very little burning or charring along the edges. But wait, we're not done yet. I'm going to add some fresh basil leaves to the top of the pizza, and then I'm going to add 40 grams of fresh grated Parmesan cheese to the top. I'm going to cover the top of the Römertopf with a piece of tin foil so the Parmesan cheese has a chance to melt a little bit. After a few minutes, the pizza is done. However, you should let the pizza cool down to at least 150 degrees Fahrenheit. I'm going to use a thin wooden skewer to gently separate the side of the pizza from the pan. It actually should give very easily because the bottom of the Römertopf pan is glazed. It should be a non-stick surface. After a few more minutes of cooling, I'm going to use a spatula to gently pry the pizza from the pan. This is a little tricky, so be careful. Friends, there you have it. A Chicago-style deep dish pizza specifically formulated to be used in the Römertopf pan clay pot. This is a very light and delicious and less greasy version of a pizza made in the Chicago deep dish style.
Oh, 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 Chicago. Oh, 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 Chicago. Tastes so good, I ate right through you. Oh, Chicago, I hardly knew you. I met a pizza from Chicago.